Today, we're going to play a game called What Would I Do? And I'm going to give a scenario where I'm going to tell you what I would do if this was my situation. And good part about this is I've helped so many hundreds of coaches and I've seen so many different situations. So I'm actually going to give you the play by play of how I would do this. So this would be fun. All right. So here is the scenario. I would what would I do if I've been in this coaching industry for 5 years? So from the time that I knew that I could make money in coaching, it's been 5 years. Now, it's not like I discovered this yesterday. The whole time I've been getting clients randomly, here or there. It was nothing to make any kind of consistent income. But every so often, I would get people who would work with me. And when they do work with me, I would get lowballed on my price. So I would never get paid what I truly wanted to get paid for my program. And one other element, I am looking to transition full time into coaching because I'm not the happiest with my job. So that is the scenario. 5 years, I've been trying to do this. I get clients randomly. I'm not getting paid my full price or investment of what I want to get paid. And I'm not making enough to go full time because I don't like my job and I want to just be able to I want to get my freedom back and start doing this job and start doing this business. All right, so what I do? So first thing, very first thing is if I'm not getting clients consistently, I will look at what the reason is for that. Have I been actively trying to get clients and I'm telling people about it, but they're not interested? Or am I not at all reaching out or creating enough conversations with people to get clients? So I would look at that. So let's say I've actually have been trying. So let's say that. Say, you know what, I've actually been trying over the last 5 years. It just hasn't been clicking. So then what I would do, right, if I'm coaching myself in this situation, what I would do is I would test out different offers because your offer is based on what you think people want. So whatever, if you're a business coach, if you're a health coach, if you are working with somebody in some kind of capacity and you're helping them relationships, whatever it is, then there's a particular service or program that they want. So I would test different offers with people and see which ones that they want. And by the way, I don't have to be the smartest person in the world. The people that I'm talking to, I can ask them what they want. So I would actually have create more conversations with people. And then I would ask them, literally ask them what they want. Okay, well, what are you looking more for? What if what would compel you to want to work together? I would ask questions like that, and then I would take notes, take notes, take notes, take notes. And then let's say after about 10 to 20 people, I would actually create the program or the offer that this audience is telling me that they want. So now I don't have to be the smartest person in the world. I'm literally just doing what my audience said that they want. And here's a side note on that. I see it's far too many coaches that's creating things that they think people want, and they've never validated this is what people actually want. Instead of just creating something off the top of your head, why don't you ask people what they want? And you asking them what they want, then you match what they want with the skill that you currently have. And that's key, that you currently have. And so, because there may be a list of things that they say, hey, I want to get these 5 outcomes, but you might only know how to do 2 or 3 of those outcomes. That's okay. Then you offer 2 or 3 of those outcomes out of the 5. That's how I was when I started. I didn't know how to run ads. I wasn't good at sales, but I knew how to help people put together and craft their signature speech. I know how to help people put together a coaching course and a coaching program and a digital course. That's where I started. And then and I was pretty good with knowing how to coach people and understanding people because I was always into psychology, how people work, and that type of thing. So that was my initial skill set. Then I got good at content. That gave me another element to the offer that I can add. Then I got good at generating leads. That gave me another offer. Then I got good at generating sales. That got me to another level. And then I got good at generating more sales. That got me to another level. So every one of those levels, I was able to create better offers because my skills have been better. And then so now I've been diving more deeper into automation and AI and utilizing that for my coaching program and for my ads agency. So guess what? At some point, that's going to be additional skill sets that I will potentially train on or add to my offer. So that's a side note. Going back, okay, boom. So now I have an offer. So that would be the first thing that I would do. And now that I feel confident that this is the price point and this is what I'm offering people, the next thing that I would do is I would start being more consistent on social media. The reason I would do that is because people need to see me more often in order to trust, especially now because I'm pretty sure like if you've been paying attention to our industry, some of the trust that's been going down. All trust going down really means is that it's taking people a longer time to make decisions because so many people have been getting scammed. So many people have been, they've invested in coaching programs before, they invested in services before, and the people that they invested in didn't deliver on the promises that they paid for. So now it's still, I mean, the industry is still growing crazy, and the online education space is still blowing up, and the coaching industry is still blowing up. However, people are keeping a closer eye on what you got going on and making sure that you're fulfilling your promises because there's been horror stories out here, right? So you have to show up I would need to show up on social media more consistently, posting content, posting videos, posting testimonials. I will put out way more content more consistently, at least once a day, where people can see that I have some level of that I'm present. I'm not just going to take their money and run off to Mexico, go on vacation, and they never hear from me again. So I would be more consistent with the content. Okay, boom. So I have an offer. I am showing up on social media more consistently. And then what I would do is I would focus on booking appointments, right? So booking appointments that is the gateway of how we get on the pathway to making money in our business, right? Because it's not, I used to have what we call the post and pray syndrome. And there's a lot of people that I know have this syndrome right now, as we speak. You might be one of them. And I used to post and pray that I got clients. I'll be posting. I'm like, yo, all of the gurus is telling me, yo, put out content, yo, give value, post, post, post. And I'm like, yo, I'm posting, I'm putting out lives, I'm putting out trainings. And I was expecting people to come to me and flood to me so they can become clients. And I'm like, yo, I'm spending all of my time and energy trying to do this, but I'm not getting any clients. People aren't reaching out to me. What's going on? And I didn't realize that content is more for lead nurturing, is more for trust building than it is lead generation. Believe it or not, this is going to sound counterintuitive because all of your people on social media. So you're like, yo, if I'm putting out content, they should come to me, right? But this is not if I build it, they will come. This is not that. That's not what this is. This is if I build it, they will trust me. But that doesn't mean they're going to reach out to you. That's a big difference you have to understand. So I tell my clients this. I say, an empty calendar equals an empty wallet. An empty calendar equals an empty wallet. So you would need to book appointments. So booking appointments means I'm going to focus on every day. So the appointments is the outcome, right? So what is the input? Because you have to put in the input in order to get the output. The output is I can look on your calendar and see appointments. The input is what we call creating conversations. So every single day, I would be creating conversations on social media. And this is if I'm going the organic route. I'll give you the supercharged route in a second. But if I'm doing the organic route, I'm creating conversations. I'm commenting. This is actually how I started building a relationship with ET. And this is how I actually started getting some of my early clients. I would go under ET's page because when I got into this, I'm like, okay, there's a lot of people in his comments that are coaches and that are speakers, and they're asking questions, but literally he's getting so many hundreds of comments that he cannot answer everybody. But guess who got the time today? So I went in the comments, and now I'm doing what we call coaching in the comments. So now people are asking questions, and I'm answering, and I'm answering, I'm answering, I'm answering. So every day, so two things happen from that. One, I started actually three things. One, I started getting more followers. So that's one, because people will be like, yo, who's this dude? He just took his time, gave me a nice, valuable comment. Go to my page, and I got followers. And this is what started getting me up there. Right now, I got 19,000 plus followers. But this is what started getting me up there. Then, so that's the first benefit. Second benefit is I was starting to generate leads because the people who would respond to me, I would engage and create DM conversations with them, right? And these are very strategic people that I picked to speak to. This is not random. So, okay, now I got my ideal clients that's responding to me. Now I can take the conversation up a notch and have a more private conversation with them in DM. Second thing. Third thing, I didn't even realize that when you're commenting so much on a post, you're giving literally, I was creating like 10 to 20 notifications a day on ET's on his Instagram. So imagine every day he getting 20 notifications from you. Who's this dude every day in the comments? Every day commenting, every day helping people, every day, every day, every day, every day. So then eventually when I went out to one of ET's events, he was like, oh yeah, he recognized me. And then since then, we built a relationship, know each other on a first name basis. We spoken on stages together. I've invited him to my private events. And it's been dope, right? I'll speak to him, I'll send him some messages every so often. We'll do voice notes and stuff. So, so shout out to my boy ET, the hip hop preacher. But I mentioned that because it's all about it's about leads. So leads is going to generate conversations. That's if I went the organic route. What I would so I would do that, and I would say, you know what, I'm gonna take some of the money that I'm making from my job because I need my job to be my investor. That's where most people go wrong. They're expecting the business initially to make enough money for them to sustain a business. Now, what's going to happen is your job needs to be your original investor. If not, you're always going to be on the treadmill because you're not going to, it's going to just take you a long time to build this and to monetize it. So if you are a real business and you want to be treated like a legitimate business owner, you need to invest in your business. Any real business, go to any brick and mortar business, go to any restaurant. If they serious about the restaurant, then they're spending money on advertising. They're spending money on the banner. They're spending money to make sure their restaurant looks nice. They're spending money to do the marketing. They're spending money. They're investing the money in order to grow the business. As any legitimate business, especially these brick and mortar businesses, they know because they got to keep the doors open and they got to pay for rent. So they understand how important marketing and advertising is. Sometimes it's like because you're online, I see people that they lose sight of that. But talk to any real legitimate business owner, they're gonna tell you you better be advertising because that's how you're gonna bring the customers to you, and that is actually how you're gonna make the money, right? So we got to step into the CEO role and say that we're not just coaches, we're in the coaching business. And being in the coaching business, you got to spend money on advertising. Period. So I would spend the money. I would start off with like $10 a day or $20 a day, which is like $300 to $600 a month. I would spend that $20 a day, 600 a month to get leads. These leads, I would contact and I would call them up, and then I would book them as an appointment. And this is how I would get appointments on the calendar. Then what I would do, I would say, okay, I'm getting these appointments on the calendar. The next thing I will be focused on is sales. And I said, okay, I want to be able to make sales. Now, I want to transition out of my job. So, how much money do I need to be making per month in order to go full time? So, let's assume I'm making $6,000 a month on my job. Okay, so I want to match the sales that I'm making in my business with the sales that with the my paycheck that I'm making at my job. Okay, cool. So I would say, you know what? I'm going to sell a program and I'm going to charge $1,500 for it. To charge more or less, but I would just say, especially since I'm still trying to get my confidence up, probably I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna charge something that I feel like most people can afford. So I'm going to charge 1,500 a month. And I say that, I mean, it's 1,500 per client. And I say that it's very easy because people, pretty much anybody go for $500 a month if they're serious about it. And if I have a 3 month program, which I would have a 3 month program, and then they would have to pay 1,500 up front, or I would give them installments and they can pay $500 per month, which is 1,500 at the end of 90 days. Cool. So I would do that. And I would focus on getting 4 clients per month. That would be my goal. 4 clients per month. And I would try my hardest to get 1 client per week. So 1,500 per week. If let's just say four weeks in a month, that's how much? 6K. So that would be what I would religiously focus on day in and day out, every waking hour, every discretionary moment, anything that I can do to get more time on my schedule, anything that I could delegate, I'll delegate. Anytime I don't have to drive somewhere, I'm not driving there. Anytime that I don't have to go to the grocery store and I could get uh um Instacart to drop off food to me. I'm getting Instacart. I'm doing everything to save as much money as possible. I'm waking up early. I'm spending my lunch break working, which is, by the way, these are things that I actually did. This is how I went full time. Right. Even at my job, I would have an hour lunch break and I would spend 50 minutes doing strategy calls or having conversations. And then I would spend 10 minutes eating. I'll eat a salad real quick, 10 minutes, whoop, boom. And that, so this is, I'm telling you things that I actually really did. Um, and then after work, boom, I will be working on the business. So I would be doing that until I would be doing those methods between organic and ads, and I'll be working those so much until I got at least 10 appointments on the calendar each week. And then I would find a sales process, somebody to teach me sales. And then I would, as now that I have the appointment, so don't get this out of order. Like this is in order. So don't go, I wouldn't go do sales first. I wouldn't try to learn sales first. I would try to get traffic first because you got to have people to talk to because you can get somebody by accident. You know what I mean? But so you want to make sure you know that first. So you got to keep the order right. So I would get the appointments first, get the leads first. And now that I'm getting 10 appointments per week, then I would say, let me focus on sales, hire somebody to help me get sales or be part of a program or learn sales or buy a book or buy a program or something. And then I'll try my best to apply the sales process and then and now my focus would be just to get one a week, one a week. And if I was getting one a week, great. I might get one out of every 20. So then I say, okay, if I got to get better, then I would hire somebody to listen to my calls and give me feedback. Right. This is why having a coach itself is so important. And literally, I would do that until I was generating enough money to be able to go full time. There you go. So this is what we call what would I do, right? So I think this is something that's fun. I'm gonna really start doing this much more often. And by the way, if you like this, let me know if you like this. You could go ahead and you could drop a comment on it. By the way, if you want I'm giving away a free masterclass. I have a masterclass that's called the Client Magnet Masterclass. Is $97. But if you on this live right now, I'm gonna give it to you absolutely free. You just gotta comment free masterclass. And this is where I'll walk you through how to create your own certification culture program. And I give you our strategy of how I run successful ads. And like we just had one of our clients get like 171 leads her first month. So and so we getting folks that are following our strategies, and we did it for her, but I'm just give you the strategy, and I've already created a entire. I did a workshop on it, like an in-person event on it, and I'm gonna give you those recordings. So just comment free masterclass, and I'll make sure to get that to you. All right, slow motion is better than no motion. Let's work.